Hey there, this is Darren LaCroix, driving back to Vegas from California. So, yes, I know you're not supposed to do this when you're driving, but guess what? I am. Sometimes you got to break the rules, especially if you want to get your 90 days of Facebook Live in, especially before it gets too dark. Hey there, Denise. How are you? So I am driving from from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. So this is a drive I do 3, 4, or 5 times a year. I love this drive because it's actually really therapeutic. Driving through the desert, there's just something about it, and I love it. But if you ever take a road trip, like a common road trip, even if it's to work or something, do you have those 1 or 2 places, like your pit stops? So especially when you take that longer road, maybe to visit family or friends, is that there are 1 or 2 spots that's where you pull off, and that's where you, whoever watches this video, that's who's gonna know. Because I get Facebook messages, you shouldn't do that while you're driving. Yeah, no, there's a lot of things we shouldn't do. But I'm not gonna judge if you don't judge. Hey there, Tim Barnaby. Just talking about that long road trip that you take on a regular basis, whether it's friends or family. And, you know, it's a long road trip, so you got to stop a couple times on the way. Hey there, Tanya. Hey, Rich Anderson. So if you take that long trip regularly, you've got that 1 or 2 favorite spots that you pull over and gas up and empty out and fill up. You know, that place, your pit stop place. Why, like, there? Why do you do it there? I was thinking about this, and there's 2 spots that I always pull over and stop at, and I literally just pulled in one of them, and that's kind of what gave me that idea. When you think about it, what's the reason that's your spot? What's the reason? Well, if you think about it, it's probably because you stopped there once, or that first time, and you liked it. It served you. Maybe it was clean. Maybe it was easy on and off. But then you became familiar with it. So because you became familiar with it, it's now your place. Well, it's easy. You know you get what you want. It gives you the value that you need. That's why, you know, if it's a clean restroom, that's value if you're looking for a restroom. So I was thinking about this today as I was driving back. So it's about a 4-hour drive between LA back there and Las Vegas ahead of me. And I'm thinking about my spots, my favorite pit stops along the way. Wow, lots of people on tonight, Sunday night. Good time to do this. So how does that relate to business, or why people will buy from you? Well, it's exactly 2 reasons. Happened to me today. So I was speaking at a conference in LA on Saturday, and I just spoke at a Toastmaster club in LA, actually Pasadena, before I left to come back home. And 2 people came after I gave my presentation and bought from me, and it was fascinating. One of them said, you know, I heard you before, and I wanted more from you. So that familiarity. And for those of you who are professionals or want to be professionals, you've got to understand that that's the exact reason to have your newsletter, to have that recurring content that goes out to people, that people join your newsletter list and they stay, or they get more familiar with you. So number 1, you build trust, you build familiarity. I hope I pronounced that right. Familiarity. So they're familiar with you. They trust you. So that's one important reason people buy. And you might have to build that trust before they'll put down the money. So we've got to help them for free. We've got to help them for free to build the trust and build the familiarity. Oh, police officer, I'm going to shut off my overhead light. Shh. Okay. Oh, boy. So number 1, familiarity. That's why I say, as a professional, your number 1 asset is your list. So I left with several sales today from speaking for free. But more importantly, I left with a clipboard full of names from this weekend. People who would get on my newsletter list, who I will gain familiarity with, and hopefully they'll buy eventually. But if not, they're served by my content. All right, so he's far enough back. So, number one, familiarity. Now, backing up, both of these reasons are because of my list, my newsletter list that goes out for free. Mine goes out once a week. But if you have one, even if it's once a month, you have to have that way to get people more familiar with you. So that way you can build the trust. You build the trust, whether it's for free or a $20 book or something like that, that gets them to want to buy more. Now, you and I'm presuming you're giving good content. I'm presuming you're telling good, engaging stories, or the familiarity, you're going to opt off the list. You know, by the way, you're always going to have people opt off your list. When I started early on, it like broke my heart. I'm like, oh, they didn't like me. Well, there's always going to be people who opt off your list. You know, it's just not right. It's not important to them anymore. It's not their focus. That's okay. You can't take it personally. But as long as you get more people on your list than getting off your list, you build your asset. So number one, familiarity. Number two, timing. So one gentleman who bought into Stage Time University, my business mastery level, committed to a year with us. Like he told me, he goes, yeah, you know, I'd heard you before and I like what you had to say, but I was really busy. But I just retired, so now I have more time. So see, a change or a switch happened in his life, and now I presented myself and my offer in front of him when the timing was right for his life. Then he bought. But I built familiarity. He's followed me for a while. All right, another police officer. He's built familiarity. I built familiarity by doing the newsletter list. And I had a lot of people who bought from me this weekend who had seen me before. And that, trailer truck. So that also was a great reminder that by sometimes have to see. So I guess that would be number three. People heard my offer 2 or 3 or 4 times before they went ahead and bought. So they've heard from me before. They've been with me before. Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. A lot of sentences start with so. Well, so. I don't know who said that. I just read that. A lot of sentences start with so. I notice I do that on Facebook Lives. It's kind of annoying. So, if it annoys you, just shut it off. It's like your TV. Click. It is good feedback, though, and I do understand that. That's the thing with the Facebook Live. It's like I don't necessarily plan it all out. Because of that, I tend to sow a lot. Even when I'm creating products, I have to go through the recordings and take out all the sows. So, I say my products are like 95% sow free because I delete them all because it's annoying. Well, hey, if you're giving good content, people are going to want to learn, but it's great feedback. I accept it. I receive it. I'm okay with that. So, anyway, so the reason people buy again, number one, familiarity. Number two, timing, something in their life. But you and I need to stay top of mind. We need to stay in front of people so we can gain that familiarity, which leads to trust. Trust leads to buying if you're giving good content. And then number two is timing. Something happens in their life. You know, for Toastmasters, that's a reason that a lot of people will join Toastmasters at a certain time, is all of a sudden their boss says, hey, you got to start giving presentations. Oops, they freak out. They freak out, and they got to find a way. They've got to find a way to learn. They check out Toastmasters. Same thing for my university. People who become serious, or now they want to make it a priority in their life. Or I've had a lot of people join after New Year's, because now after New Year's, all right, now they're ready. The holidays are over. I want to get serious. Maybe their resolution was about becoming a great speaker, or maybe winning a speech contest. So timing changes. So 2 important reasons to know. There's many reasons people buy. I thought those 2 were relevant since I had 2 real life examples, and I thought of the analogy in the pit stop, the familiarity, and also timing. You know, if you need a pit stop, then timing's another reason you pull over. All right, that's it for today. I'm going to be safe now. See ya. Oh, shut off the light first. See ya.